Got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
Well, you're not corny anymore.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick Davenport, aka Mr. Mental Muscle, and we're back again on the Mental Breakdown channel. Now, we got to talk about something going on with Michael B. Jordan. He's actually one of my favorite actors. I loved him in Black Panther, Just Mercy, even going back to Hardball. So he's been in the game for a minute. And he's obviously had some great success. And with the premiere of his movie Creed 3, and this is his directorial debut, you can safely say Michael B. Jordan has put in his due and it's paying off. But this clip goes over an old classmate that actually remembered him from high school. And she pointed out how he was corny and how they used to kind of clown him because of his name or the fact that he was an actor trying to make it and he has headshots. And you can see the trajectory of his career, it paid off. But the topic of being corny, I asked, what does that even mean? Because I've heard that term before and I've even had it used against me. And I can kind of relate to Michael B. Jordan. Now, I wasn't trying to be an actor. My thing was I was wanting to be a professional athlete, but I also had a side career aspiration of being a rapper. And I made probably over 200-300 songs in my life. I performed with some big names such as T-Pain, opened for them, Plies, and some other notable artists. But I used to walk around my high school with a tape recorder that my dad gave me. And I would record whole 3-4 minute songs in one tape and record it and then play it to my classmates and friends. And granted, some people's like, hey man, you going in, but I'm sure there's other people like, this guy is lame, right? So I can understand that. But the point is, why do men get put in this category? He literally was trying to be ambitious, make something of himself. I get it. Kids make fun of each other. I have no problem with that. Now me, I got picked on a little bit for, what I just talked about, but it was helpful for me that I was 6 feet going into high school, athletic. So it was hard to kind of bully me because I was bigger than everyone, but I still got clowned. That's fine. But when it gets to the point when you're putting someone down, it sticks with you. I even have things that were said to me to this day that's still my driving force. And I've been successful in my own right. I work with some of the top professional athletes, military, training them in mental performance. So I'm doing okay for myself. But getting back to the point with Michael B. Jordan, a lot of the uproar came from people saying that the girl in question didn't even call him corny. And that was kind of true because the podcast that she hosts, her podcast co-host actually called him corny. But she didn't make it better. She kind of doubled down when she said we made fun of him because of his name, something like Michael Jordan, or walking around with his headshots, trying to be an actor, doing things like that. So be it. But you're kind of confirming that you agreed with her and saying going back to even high school, he wasn't considered a cool kid. He wasn't the hood or whatever you want to call it.
We got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here.
So getting to the point is, why do girls not go for this guy, but they go for the quote unquote bad boys? Now, I've talked about Ty Tashiro in his book, The Science of Happily Ever After. And he discusses this. 2 key factors of predicting relationship satisfaction are emotional stability and agreeableness. So emotional stability is kind of straightforward, right? Someone who doesn't jump around with their emotions. They're up one day, they're down the next day. And it seems like common sense that this is the person that makes sense to have the best relationship. But I guess common sense isn't that common because people choose these bad boys. And the bad boy typically is the complete opposite. He's high on neuroticism, meaning he's anxious. He's going to be the person who's going to think badly of certain situations and automatically be negative. But he's also high on something called novelty seeking. Dr. Tashiro talks about novelty seeking is fine. This is when you want to embark on new endeavors, new tasks, fun events, things of that nature. And obviously, as people, we want to do things, be out there. In a relationship, that's good. But if you're too high on novelty seeking, you're always looking for the next best thing, whether it's the next outing or some cases, the next person. What's that link with? Cheating, right? So if you're going for this emotionally unstable person, these are the bad boys because they're going to be the ones more likely to get in trouble with the law. They're going to make you feel good in the moment because, ooh, he swept me off my feet, but he's not going to be consistent in his behaviors. He's sometimes abusive. So why would you want this guy? But that's why being emotionally stable is important because emotions come and go. Sometimes you're happy. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you're in the zone and focus. Sometimes you're aloof and out in the clouds. And that's just how the human brain works. So to base your feelings or base your choices off of these feelings and these emotions, they're fleeting, is not the best strategy. Now, going over to the other side, agreeableness. Now, just like novelty seeking, it's okay to have it, but you don't want to be too high. But agreeableness is when you're able to see other people's views, not be too combative. Now, to a degree, giving typical relationship dynamics, the man's typically a little more disagreeable or less agreeable, but there's a level of that you do need, because if you want a partnership, a romantic relationship, you have to be able to see the other person's side and accommodate them. And this is also a predictor of long-term relationship satisfaction. At the end of the day, when it comes to psychology, it's not about what's right or wrong, what we can exactly tell in the future, because we can't. But that's the key word, predictions. If I was to take a person who's high on emotional stability, moderate on novelty seeking, and moderate to high on agreeableness, you can probably assume that this relationship will last with that partner because, one, he's gonna be more consistent in how he thinks and goes about making rational decisions. Two, he's not gonna be too adventurous to the point where you're not gonna be enough, he's gonna want more. And three, he's gonna be agreeable to the point where he's gonna take your feelings into consideration. Because you don't want someone who doesn't care and just dismisses you, but this is what bad boys do. They make you feel good for just for that moment. And that's like the dark triad when you do what you want to get what you need. That's Machiavellianism or even psychopathy. So you can see how this leads up to not the best outcomes. So all in all, going back to Michael B. Jordan, sitting there thinking that he was corny because he was ambitious, goal-oriented. He wasn't necessarily doing the street things that people think is cool in that. And as kids, I get it. We can be misguided. I remember being a kid. I didn't do the best decisions all the time, but I remember being put in the same category. And it's like the correlation, once again, this is a predictor. Who do you think will have a better life outcome? The kid was always cutting up in class, skipping school, getting into fights, or the person who was driven, whether it be after school activity, sport, drama, or even just getting good grades? Who do you think is gonna have the better life long-term? And the funny thing is, this carries over to adulthood because personality is pretty constant. A lot of people ask me, does personality change? Not really. Yes, there's certain behaviors you can change, and I obviously talk about this all the time because once you know these behaviors, you can adapt to the situation, but inherently your default mode is you. So if you're wanting this stuff, you're typically gonna go for it. So people always say, oh, I'm done with bad boys, or the girls say, I gotta get rid of that type. I'm always attracted to them. That's not a good thing because you're gonna lead into situations that don't have the best predictive outcomes. So I say, hey, who got the last laugh in this case? Michael B. Jordan, of course. You can see in the clip, he was looking at her smugly like, yeah, you said that. And she tried to refute it. And she even ended the conversation was, well, at least you're not corny anymore or something of that nature.
Well, you're not corny anymore.
So kind of throwing shade saying that he was corny or she thought he was corny. But granted, who's on the other side of that interview? Who is she interviewing? Who's got the big movie about to release in a 3-part series that's linked to one of the biggest sport franchises, Rocky, in all of cinema history? I'm just saying, sometimes being corny isn't wrong. So thanks again, guys, as always, for letting me break it down. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if you were a corny guy at school and you came to be something better, or if you're a girl who didn't give the corny guys a chance and now they're doing good, you regret it? Let me know. So thanks for tuning in and get your mind right.